What's up? It's Robert from Existence First, mental training for a modern world. In today's mental training, we're going to put the mind in its place. The mind is not to be trusted. And that's not to say that the mind is to be disrespected or completely disregarded or even despised. It's simply not to be trusted. The same way that if you go on vacation for a week, you're not going to leave your 5-year-old child in charge of the house, right? It's not that you don't love your child, it's just that you don't trust your child with the house. You know that the child is incapable of maintaining order in that environment. Okay, it doesn't say anything about your relationship with the child, it says something about the child's competence. So, the mind is not to be trusted. And what are some of the things that our mind tells us on a daily basis? Well, you have to keep a log of these things if you really want to keep track of them. But here are some examples that I think might apply to everybody. The mind on a daily basis might say things like, oh, this isn't going to work out. Or, oh, I really hope this doesn't happen because if it does, it's just going to be horrible. I hope I don't mess up during my presentation. I hope blah, blah, blah. That's one set of thoughts. The mind can go the other direction too and could say, oh, I really hope that this one thing happens. If it happens, oh, that's going to be so great. All my problems will be solved. I just really hope for blah, blah, blah. I can't wait till the end of coronavirus and, everything's going to be great again. And we know that's sort of an exaggeration. And both of those extremes are sort of exaggerations that are not completely in alignment with reality. So let's take an example. Let's say, well, for the last 8 or 9 weeks, I've been trying this vegan meal delivery service where I eat 2 vegan meals a day. And I went into this thinking like this would be great for my body. And I've talked to a lot of vegans who all swear by the diet. And I know that it's obvious there's a lot of nutrients in those meals. There's so many vegetables. But what actually happened was that those meals, with all the fiber they contain, bloated me up every single day, and my belly was like a balloon, like on a daily basis. It was like horrible, horrible. So I had to do away with that diet. But that's a perfect example where the mind is not to be trusted. Only reality is to be trusted, right? The mind will make up all of these things of, oh, if only this, if only I did this change in my life, I'm going to have so much better outcomes. Or if only this thing didn't happen, if I didn't have this thing in my life, then I would have this outcome. Well, you shouldn't really listen to that the same way you wouldn't listen to a 5-year-old child tell you about the stock market or investing in your retirement accounts or anything like sophisticated or advanced, like anything other than the simple ABCs. You would not listen to the advice of a 5-year-old child. And so this voice in our head, that is the mind, right? We are constantly in conversation with it. The mind says something, we say something back. The mind says something, we say something back, right? The mind says, don't do it. You might encounter this challenge or obstacle. And then you speak back and say, well, let's do it anyways and find out. Or you might say, that's not a big deal. That obstacle is not a big deal. That obstacle is manageable. And now you're in dialogue with the mind. And this is internal dialogue. See, it's not a monologue. Mono means one, but there's not one voice. There's the two. There's this mind, this chattering mind inside of us, but then there's us, the decision maker, that listens to what the mind is saying. And so there's two. It's a dialogue. Di means two. Dialogue, just like dichotomy. So we have to get in touch with this duality, I guess, of our own psychology. But I think that as soon as we understand that there's this voice going on, but we don't have to follow it, and that what we really should be following is reality and the results that we get when we implement things in the real world, then I think we can live lives of much more confidence. That's all for now. Think deeply and put your existence first.